Today I fucked up by talking to Neil Patrick Harris. My kids are off school for the holidays, so I took them to the local trampoline park today. When we got there, I looked around and notice a familiar face. I look a little closer and I realize it's Neil Patrick Harris there with one of his kids. We live near Los Angeles, so it's not uncommon to spot a celeb. In fact, I've seen NPH out and about once before. I went over to him, excited to tell him how much our family recently enjoyed 8-Bit Christmas, good movie, by the way. Worth a watch for 80s-90s kids. "Hey, are you Neil Patrick Harris?" I ask. He smiles. "No, but I get that a lot. I am an actor though." Me. Disappointed and assuming he's in community theater or something. "Oh really? What have you been in?" Him politely, "Well, I've been Iceman in all of the X-Men movies." Immediately I realized that the reason he looked familiar was because he is Shawn Ashmore. He does, indeed, play Iceman in the X-Men franchise and is also Lamplighter in The Boys. So I pretty much made an ass of myself. To his credit, he was extremely cool about it. Seemed like a genuinely nice guy. But lesson learned, I probably won't try to talk to celebrities anymore. Too long did not read. I introduced myself to Neil Patrick Harris only to discover that it was, in fact, a different famous actor and I looked like an idiot. Shawn Ashmore has an identical twin brother, Aaron Ashmore, is also an actor. He's great in The Rookie and also in The Boys. Plays two characters that could not be more different from one another. Really shows range. That's a shame. My uncle met NPH in a casino and they ended up hanging out. He came back to our house and hung out for a few hours. All while my cousin, possibly the biggest Neil Patrick Harris fan I've met, slept comfortably upstairs. I loved him in Animorphs. Today I fucked up by punching my pregnant sister. For a bit of backstory, I, F33, have a younger sister, F24. We'll call her Donnie. We also had a sister between us, she would be 25 now, and when I was 8, she died from SIDS. Almost immediately my mother was pregnant again. In her own words, "It's like God gave me a second chance." Through our childhoods, I was given a very different upbringing. I was the one who got all of the second bests, all the mistakes so they could perfect it for their second chance. I went to the school of fuck around and find out, whereas Donnie went to a private school. I mean this literally. We were poor, and I went to shitty schools with shitty people where I had to fend for myself. I am autistic, late diagnosed, but kids pick up on that shit. Our dad got a better job when I was 17, and with it came big money. I had the option of switching to a better school, but I was already in my final year and all my friends were at the low-income school, so I stayed. Donnie was the golden child, and I was the spare. None of this was her fault. Fast forward to me at 25. I fell pregnant to a casual boyfriend of mine, we will call him Sean. He stepped up big time, and sincerely was my best friend. Our son was born, Alex, everything was good, and my parents adored him. A year and a half ago, Sean and Alex were in a car crash. Sean died, and so did Alex. The paramedics couldn't save Sean because he had injuries, incompatible with life. To give you an idea. Alex was resuscitated, but he was starved of oxygen and is now severely disabled, limited mobility and very little speech. My sister is 7 months pregnant. We all got together the day before yesterday, and while I was tending to Alex I overheard Donnie say to my parents, "Aren't you glad God has given you another chance?" I was curious, so I kept listening. They agreed, and I saw my mum put her hand on Danny's stomach. Donnie also made a comment about how now they will have a grandkid they can interact with. I went over and called her out. To my surprise she doubled down. I don't remember a lot of what happened because I was furious, but it ended with us both yelling, her saying I never should have resuscitated Alex, and me punching her hard in the nose. My dad got between us and kicked me and Alex out, telling me to go cool off. I could only drive to the nearest McDonald's car park to cry. I don't like driving with high emotions because of the accident. Yesterday I had so many messages. My parents telling me I need to apologize for assaulting my sister and make it up to her or she will press charges. I'm so hurt and confused. I know I shouldn't have hit her, but she literally said I should have let my kid die. That's something I have so much guilt for already. I know it was probably selfish to bring him back. I'm sorry that this is so rambling. I don't know how to even begin to process this or how I'm supposed to make this right. I would appreciate any advice if you've somehow been through something similar. I am feeling very alone with this, but I'm also biased and felt I had to defend my son. I fucked up by escalating. Too long did not read. My 7-month pregnant sister said I shouldn't have resuscitated my disabled son, and I punched her. Now I'm likely facing legal charges. Edit. I am well aware that punching her was wrong. I take full responsibility for that, and I don't deny any accusations that it makes me a terrible person. I will not, however, accept anyone saying that my son doesn't deserve to be alive and treated as an equal. He is a completely innocent party, regardless of if you agree with me or my sister. Edit 2. I am about 5 feet 2 and 60 kilograms. I am not particularly strong. The most I can do is lift my son from his chair to other furniture. My sister is 5 feet 8. I don't know how much she weighs, but she's always been into sports, even during her pregnancy. I didn't punch hard, and my parents have told me there is no mark. I am discussing with them what will happen. I will keep yous updated if I can. Edit 3. Copy and paste from a comment of mine, saying what happened in the fight. I block upsetting things out as a trauma response, so while I remember the course of the argument, I can't give perfect quotes. From what I can recall, I called her out on what she said. She doubled down. Neither of my parents would side with either of us, which made me angrier, and I snapped at them saying they were out of line. Donnie got defensive of them, to which I replied that they always side with her anyway. She asked what I meant, and I gave some examples I think, and said they always favored her. I also brought up the fact they were distant with their already existing grandchild, and how it's unfair to him. She brought up again that my son is apparently not good enough, to which I said he is disabled, not dead, and is worthy of their love and attention. This is when she said he was disabled because of being starved of oxygen and I shouldn't have resuscitated him. This is when I hit her. Obviously it was wrong and terrible, but somebody says something like that to anyone and they are gonna get an autopilot response. I have done it. I am a total pacifist, but I've been known to pacifist. Nah. Donnie needs to apologize first. Then, maybe, you can if you want to. If you have a formal diagnosis, you may be eligible for resources for housing and other things to get you out of that toxic cesspool where you are now. Hugs to you. You have her a taste of reality. She's damn fucking lucky she didn't pull that shit around someone far bigger and stronger than you. Sounds like she had it coming. Congrats on being the fist that gave her a dose of reality. Tell your parents the truth about your upbringing compared to her and you don't regret it. Hot damn. Fuck that. She deserved to be punched in the face. Also, time to dump your shitty family. Fuck all of them. Today I fucked up by picking my girlfriend's father up after losing my glasses. Well, more like yesterday now that I've slept it off and have a clear head with which to recount the events. My girlfriend had planned for me to meet her parents a few months back, and yesterday, the day to meet them. Just recently I lost my glasses outside and never found them and have been in the process of getting replacements. So everything about 1 foot away looks blurry. I let my anxiety get the better of me and I spent a majority of that morning drinking more than I should have, to help take the edge off. My anxiety only got worse when I realized I was probably going to make a bad impression if I kept drinking, but I did anyway. Girlfriend picks me up. Me being a high-functioning drunk, and also still slightly self-aware, she was none the wiser. As we were on the way she mentions more family has come to visit and some brought her little toddler-aged nieces and nephews. This will become important later. We get there. She opens the door and walks me in and I see what I immediately assume, with my blurry vision, is one of her nephews, about 3 feet tall, walking up to greet me. Feeling nervous, out of nowhere a drunken extroversion struck me, and I picked the little rascal up. I smiled and said, "Now who this little guy here?" Frantically my girlfriend whispered loudly, "That's Daddy." I thought it was an inside joke or just something the little tyke wanted to be called, played along and said, "Aw, you're like a little baby daddy, aren't ya?" We tossed them into the air about a foot and caught them. It was at that moment we made eye contact and they were close enough to me to not be fully blurry. Close enough for details to be made out, like crow's feet, and gray hairs on the eyebrows and a 5 o'clock shadow. Why he never said anything, put up a fight, struggled, or even made a noise, I'll never know. But I'll never forget that face, the expression of disappointed anger, nor the hair on that face signifying this little nephew was not one of her little nephews. Girlfriend was laughing and mostly took my side, and tried to explain me away to her family, bless her, but everyone else was horrified, and her father extremely offended, understandably so. And then fast forward a bit to me profusely apologizing and explaining I lost my glasses and thought he was one of her nephews she said was brought over for the holiday visit. Now at this point, I am glad I was hammered because the humiliation would have ended me otherwise. We're still trying to talk things through, but getting on with her family may be permanently damaged. TLR, don't pick up dwarves, especially when drunk. Oh my fucking god, man. Never toss a dwarf. You might have a problem, LMAO. This is priceless. I'd pay overtime money to have been there to see that. So did you know the father was a dwarf? A little heads up from your girlfriend might have helped. Lol. The phrase, picking my girlfriend's father up, can have an entirely different implication.